It is our weekly chat with our guy, Kyle McCord, looking back at Boston College, getting you ready for the second West Coast trip of the season, heading out to take on Cal this upcoming Saturday, 3 o'clock local for us, kick time, nooner, out on the West Coast. And, man, oh, man, Kyle, like I look at this game, it's like you had it, you didn't have it, you had it, you didn't have it, onside kicks, all this stuff. What was going on through your mind as that went down the stretch on Saturday?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, obviously, range of emotions, with the slow start, and then we got going, and then stalled a little bit, and then, got going a little bit at the end, and then, thought you were going to get a chance to go win it after we got the onside kick, and then they overrule it. So, a little bit of everything, but I think across the board on both sides of the ball, there were a handful of plays that we wish we would have had back, and that's just the reality of football, though. I feel like, when you have two good teams, two quality opponents, it's going to come down to one or two plays. So to be on the wrong side of things, it's not fun, but just got to rebound, and another great opportunity to go out west this week and play another really good team.
All right, I want to go into, the drive before the onside. So you guys are going down the field. You know the deal. You're down 9, so you need some combination of two scores, timeouts, clock. Like, there's a lot of variables to how you handle it. How are you computing, like, okay, we got to score. Need to score by now. Yeah. How is all that going into your head?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to need a score, stop, and score, and, either a field goal and then a stop and a touchdown, or a touchdown, stop, and a field goal. Mm-hmm. So we put together a solid drive and then got down to the red zone and kind of stalled. And so to kick the field goal there, I think, was the right move to cut it to a one-score game. And then, because, I mean, ultimately, like, you just want to give yourself a chance to win it at the end. So to cut it to a one-score game, then we got the onside kick on with, a minute and change left. I thought that, I thought that we would have a really good opportunity to go down and score. I mean, we were moving the ball pretty well, and especially in college football, a minute and change is a lot of time, especially when clock stops after first downs and you get out of bounds and all that. So I thought, we're going to at least have a chance, and then, obviously they threw the flag, and, you didn't get to go on the field again. It's tough. You just want to like I said, just give yourself an opportunity to, go out and win, but and that makes you look back on the previous plays and, think about what you could have done different.
How different are those late game drives? I don't want to say 2-minute drives, because I guess technically this would be the more than 2-minute drives, where, like last year when you were playing quarterback, the clock would stop and you got a first down. This year it doesn't. How different does that compress the end of the game for you? Yeah,
I think that obviously you just have to make the most out of every opportunity you have. And I think it makes the beginning of the game a lot more important, because before, I mean, you used to get whatever, like 80 plays was probably like the minimum, that teams would run. Then you would see teams who would go up tempo, get into like the hundreds, and now, most of the time you're in like, the 70s with the plays, some high 60s maybe. But I mean, it makes every play that much more important when you're taking away essentially, a whole drive or two. So yeah, it's you just got to make the most out of those opportunities. And, like I said before, when, you lose by one possession, it just makes you go back and think, what, we could have done different to put ourselves in a better chance to win.
Yeah, volume of plays is much more in line now with the NFL than certainly what college was doing there. I mean, we were seeing 80, 90, 100 play games there for 5-6 years there. Kind of just a few years back was wild to watch that go. And the games would go like 4.5 hours, which is part of why they changed the rules like that. So the onside kick happens. Darryl recovers it, flag down. Like, the thought must have hit your head at some point. It's like, we're going to go win this game right now.
Yeah. I mean, I was confident because, I mean, I've seen them do the onside kick, obviously, a bunch in practice, and Brady is really good at them. And when Darryl got it, obviously you're in great field position. On top of that, ball's literally right at midfield. And, I felt confident that we were going to go down and score. And, I was just excited that we'd have an opportunity to get back on the field again. But obviously when they threw the flag, and said it was illegal blocking, pretty much, just gave us another opportunity to go kick it again. But, the likelihood of getting 2 onside kicks isn't great. But
they almost got it too.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, it was tough. I mean, you never want to put, the game in that situation, where just percentage-wise, it's not in your favor, but I thought we were going to get another opportunity there at the end.
Yeah, so the ref explained it very weirdly, too, after the penalty. I'm like, wait a minute, did he still give Syracuse the ball? I'm like, what is happening right now? And then, obviously, it goes the way it did. I got to ask you, as we got Kyle McCord here, brought to you by our friends at Davidson Ford and Davidson Chevy, Arande's touchdown catch. Like, I watched it, I'm like, well, that was nice. And then I watched it again. I'm like, what did he do? Yeah. And like a third time, I'm like, how did he do that? What was your view of that play?
Yeah, so happened right in front of their student section. And I threw him the ball and kind of lost sight of where he was in the end zone. And then I heard their student section kind of go like crazy. So I'm like, dang, they picked it off. And like I'm kind of like looking over and I see Arande like celebrating with the ball in his hand. I'm like, why were they cheering, like going crazy for a Syracuse touchdown? And then they played it on the replay. And that's when I saw the catch. And I was like, well, that explains it. So that was ridiculous. That was probably one of the best catches I've ever seen in person, being able to do that. But that's just OG doing OG things.
Yeah, that was, I'd say it was an NFL catch. That's, I don't even know what that was. That was, you don't need to make a catch like that. Most of it, I don't even quite know how he did it. Plays like that where you're the quarterback, you're behind the line, stuff's happening. How often do plays like that happen where you don't know how the play ended?
Yeah, sometimes, you'll just lose some, like, after you throw the ball, and you won't see them. And then most of the time, like, it happens after you throw the ball and you get hit and taken down to the ground. And if you're at home, obviously, like, hearing the crowd cheer is a good thing. And then if you're on the road, hearing the crowd cheer is a bad thing. And I've been on both sides of that. But that's most of the time, like, after you throw the ball and you get hit and you really have no idea the result of the play.
Because the ball goes up and then, okay.
Yeah.
Got to be wildly confusing when the cheer is telling you the wrong thing, as they would have been doing last week. We got our guy Kyle McCord with us, getting you ready for Cal this upcoming week. And I think the one thing, not that you want to have a loss here, Kyle, the one thing we've noticed after your first two losses this year, coming out of Stanford and then coming out of the Pittsburgh game especially, you guys bounced back in a big way and bounced back with wins the next two times. What led you guys the previous two times to figure it out that you think applies here this week?
Yeah, I think more than anything, the guys are just excited to get back on the field and play, and kind of right our wrongs a little bit. And obviously, like you said, we've done that the last two times we've lost. And so I think the kind of the message to the team is, carried over, and, that we can't let one bad game and one bad result bleed into another. And so, kind of just have to cut BC off, obviously learn from the film and grow from it and move forward, but making sure that we turn the page and, that, we're on the same, all have the same mindset going into Cal.
We heard from Fran yesterday talking about he's not showering after losses and all this stuff. Like he takes this stuff harder, if not harder, than you guys. So him, perhaps best of all, is best to follow, right? How do you notice like him turn that page, right? Because man, it's grinding on you guys. Yeah. But then, yesterday was Monday, right? Like, well, game week, we got to get going here.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think it's extremely tough in college football because in the NFL you can go 10-7, like you can lose 7 games and still make it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
like
still win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Like 10-7 is a pretty good record. You lose 7 games in college football and you're probably going to get fired. But he takes all those losses extremely personal. And obviously, like, he's not the one playing in the game. He still wears it on his sleeve, but I think, all the guys see that and know that, he wants to win bad, and so do we. And we want to win for Coach Fran, knowing the type of effort that he puts in every single week. And so when we don't win, it's tough. It's tough on everybody, but, I think you have to do a good job of, learning, how to, take a loss and learn from it, and then move on and not let it carry on to the next week.
All right, Cal here this week. They're one of the top turnover teams in the country. Obviously, this is something you guys focus on every week. Regardless, Noel Williams has 7 picks, which is leading the country. How much focus in a week like this does that come in your prep?
Yeah, I think they're leading a lot of categories on defense, especially in turnovers. I think he has the most interceptions in college football. And, they got another good D lineman who I think is top 10 in sacks, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what the number is. And they're experienced from, top down. I think, all the guys, a lot of seniors on the team, and a staff who's been there for a while. So it's not like it's a new system for them. They've been the system since they've gotten there. So it's going to be another really good test. They've played everybody close this year. And, I think it's going to be another opportunity for us to go out west and, kind of right our wrongs. And, it's a good team. And I know all the guys are excited to get back on the field and get that taste from BC out of our mouths.
Cal, sounds like a good plan. Good travel this week as you head out on Thursday. Best of luck, and we'll talk again next week, all right?
Yep, thank you.
There's our guy, Kyle McCord, who joins us every Tuesday on the show, brought to you by Davidson Ford of Clay, Davidson Chevy of Rome.